Hello and welcome to Blip Shift Broadcasting. Sorry for the messy intro. We had a little bit of a technical hiccup trying to get live here. We are watching Indycars at the Kentucky Motor Speedway, and hopefully we are on time for the start of the race, and it looks like we are. Oh, we still have 2 minutes to go before the green flag flies. As you know, the qualifying is individual, and it looks like Mr. Jesper Orman has put it on the provisional pole here, followed by Michael O'Hora, Manel Dupre, Sylvain Gelinas, and Mr. Sampaio, Ignacio Sarmiento. And it looks like we have one of our friends here at the race, Danny Hoekstra from the Netherlands. We followed him yesterday on a race. Did pretty good. Another well-known guy in this series is Valmor Aronhart. There you have him. And it looks like he just qualified himself in 11th position. And there's quite a few drivers in this session that are not taking qualifying laps, and they decide to just start in the back and take it easy the first few laps and make sure that they make it to the end. And it's a good way to secure some safety rating rather than I rating, obviously. Let's see who else we have still out here on the track. That's Trevor Bissett. We've seen him before. And it looks like the pole's been picked up by Marco Aurelio Brazil. Valmor Aronhart put it on second position alongside on the first row. Orman is now in third. O'Hara is in fourth. Dupre is in fifth. Bissett sixth. We have a few more seconds before they'll start gridding up for the race. .75 lap race, 1 lap to green. Cars will be lining up in the pit lane for this race behind the pace car. And there you see them gridding up. Two similar K&N cars there. One being Michel Ferraris, And the other one being... can't tell right now. Marco Aurelio Brasil on pole position. Alongside him is Valmor Ironheart. And our Dutch friend Danny Hoekstra is in 19th position in the yellow and white Tulip Racing car. And Eric Schaus, we've seen him yesterday on the race we grabbed then. Jason Grames, some names that we've seen before here. Fixed setup race, 75 laps. They'll be doing at least one pit stop if it's all in their green, which hardly ever happens, frankly. And you can hear some of the guys revving up their engines, trying to burn off a little bit of fuel, which at this point really wouldn't make that much difference, because you're not gonna make it on one tank to the end, that's for sure. And we are still waiting for Nate Siefker to get up on there on the grid. And we've got 22 drivers. There's Nate. We should be going any minute now. 22 drivers on the grid. Very much a matter of being patient in the beginning in this race. We expect to see some close racing. Obviously, they'll be using each other's draft. It's going pretty fast though, and tugging in behind somebody will gain you a couple of miles an hour, but then when you get to the turns, you need to be aware of the fact that you have less air on the aero system of the car, so you might get a little push when you're tugging in really close behind somebody. So we're looking at Marco Aurelio Brasil on pole position, and alongside him is Valmor Ironheart. Let's see what these guys can do here early in the race. Good field, 22 cars. Final car on the grid is David Ingram, and Trevor Bissett is alongside him in the 21st position. Pace car will be going down. It's a double file start. It's the only time we'll be doing a double file start in this race. The restarts are single file. And it's up to the pole sitter to get this race going. And there he goes. Marco Aurelio Brasil takes the lead. Valmor Ironheart takes second position. And he's immediately followed by Jesper Orman and Michael O'Hara. Cars spread out in a big bunch here. Left and right, people trying to find their way. Top guys are staying low here on the first few laps. Basically both low and high are lanes that you can use. Valmor Ironheart going for the lead here. And it's Orman taking the position away from him. I guess he had to lift there a little bit to avoid running into the leader. And he drops back to fourth position. Let's take a look at Orman now. He's challenging for the lead, and O'Hara is doing the same thing to him. O'Hara picks up second place and taking his turn to chase down Marco Aurelio Brasil. Tugging in there, try and catch the draft. He's going high. Marco taking it low. And it looks like Marco still has the lead there. Orman tugging in behind O'Hara now. Another attempt going to the outside, turn one. Ooh, they're awfully close together, and he got touched. He definitely got touched. He is in the wall. That is not a good sign. There's really no need for that early in the race. Let's take a look at that in the replay here. It looks like the leader comes up just a little bit, and just a little love touch is all it takes to send the car into the wall. No grip at that speed, no way to correct it. You can't hit the brakes because that would just make things worse. So it looks like It looks like Michael O'Hara is going into the pits to get that front end fixed. And the other cars are lined up behind the pace car here. And it means that O'Hara can basically just start all over again from the back. We've got 5 laps. We're on lap 5, let's put it this way. See if there's any takers on pit road. It looks like Marco Aurelio Brazil is going into the pits. He might have a little bit of damage himself from that incident. It's really not easy to tell. Maybe we can use the drone cam here and see if there's anything wrong with that car. I can't really tell. Could be a slight damage to his aero, or he just could be he just decided to top off that tank, change the tires. It doesn't look like it looks like the rear wing was damaged. We could see that being repaired. It looked like it. Difficult to tell. Okay, anyway, it's Jesper Orman taking up the lead here now. Valmor Earnhardt is in second place. Sylvain Jelaine is in third, Manel Dupré is in fourth, and Trevor Bissett is in fifth position. And the whole field just kind of snaking behind those leaders there, awaiting the one to go before we go green. We don't have any lap drivers yet, so we should have a fairly short caution. iRacing adapts that. If there's lap drivers, they don't get to pit with the lead cars. They don't get to pit with the lead cars. So that always gives you an extra lap of caution. One lap to green. There she goes. Jesper Orman in the lead. Single file restart. And watch for cars. If they want to try to make a pass before they get to the line, they have to do it on the top side. They cannot do it on the low side. And what Orman is doing right now, slowing and then re-accelerating and slowing again, is really not a good idea, because that messes up the entire field behind him. It creates a harmonica effect, and some of the guys in the back might be caught off guard and cause another yellow. So at this point of the backstretch, they really should be lining up single file, close together, get up to the car in front of you to avoid having that harmonica effect. Valmor Earnhardt in second position, taking the high line, maybe hoping for Orman to stay low and get a jump start on the high side. And I guess Orman heard me say that, because he's back up at the high side as well. It's up to Orman to hit the throttle whenever he pleases. There he goes. We're back racing. We're talking lap 7 of 75. Orman in the lead. Earnhardt in second place. And Jelinas is in third place, tugging right in there with Earnhardt. And it looks like the rest of them are kind of fell asleep on the start there. There's quite a gap between those people and the top three. Earnhardt now going to the inside, going for the lead, taking it away from Orman right now. And it looks like Jelinas is also getting to the inside of Orman. So he takes second place. Orman down to third in just one lap after the restart. And Jelinas now on the inside, Orman on the high side, taking back second place. Cars behind them, Dupré and Bissett trying to close that gap again, being helped by the draft, obviously. But right now it's Andreossi that's run the quickest lap, and he did that on his last lap. And back on the front, battle for the lead, Earnhardt and Orman. Orman takes it on the high side, comes down. He is back in the lead. Earnhardt is in second and Jelinas in third. behind him, it's Bissett challenging now for 4th place, and Andriossi is right alongside there with him. And as I said, he just ran the quickest lap in the last lap, so he means business. Arnhart trying to high side again, trying to get some air on those wings. And right now he cannot get it done. Tugs in behind him again, trying to get that draft, and then staggered through the turns again. Keep that arrow working. And it looks like Andriossi there. No, that's not Andriossi. This is Sarmiento looking on the inside and passing Trevor Brissett for 6th position. Fairly easy, it looks like. That's one of the K&N cars. And already pulling away a little bit from Sarmiento there, trying to catch up with Andriossi. He might be challenging here in the next few laps to pick up some spots in the lead group. And Arnhart still 2nd behind Orman. A little bit more distance to the 3rd place driver, Sylvain Gelinas. And let's take it back here to Sarmiento in the K&N livery. He's now being challenged again by Trevor Bissett down on the inside, down the back stretch, side by sides towards turn 3 and 4, and it is Bissett that takes the position away from him again. And they get to do it all over again on the main straightaway. He's going down to the bottom there, takes it back. It's a good little battle going on here, and it's actually Nate Siefker that's also mixing it in there. And Sarmiento back on the inside again. I'm sorry, Bissett on the inside of Sarmiento, taking the position back. Good fight for 6th position. 3 drivers, Bissett, Sarmiento, and Siefker working on it there. While meanwhile, up front, Orman is still ahead of Arnhart, Gelinas, Andriossi, Dupre. And Sarmiento tugging in behind Bissett again. On to the main straight. Now it's Siefker challenging Sarmiento on the inside in the, what is it, red and green car there. Dark green. And Sarmiento back again on the inside. And the other K&N car is following right there. Let's go back up front real quick. This is Arnhart. Seems to be closing in on Orman. He takes the higher line to get some wind on those wings. And so far, Orman still just keeps it in the lead. About 0.23 seconds, quarter of a second between the two. And then it's Gelinas in 3rd, kind of running by himself. And then Andriossi, same thing, almost pretty much running by himself, trying to stay in that draft and not lose that draft. Once you lose that draft, you're going to fall back. You'll see drivers fall back. Manel Dupre, same thing, trying to still gain a little bit with that draft. It looks like he's losing a little bit more now. He's about 1.7 seconds behind Andriossi. That allows Bissett to catch up a little bit. Siefker is now in front of Sarmiento in 7th position. It looks like Sarmiento fell back a little bit. He was up there in 6th, but it's Bissett now in 6th, Siefker in 7th, and Sarmiento in 8th. And the 9th position is for Ferraris. Marcel Garnier in 10th position, and Danny Hoekstra from the Netherlands has already worked his way up to 11th position, and he is now challenging Marcel Garnier. And Brazil, the guy that had to make a pit stop there, he is now already back up to 12th position. behind Garnier, and Danny Hoekstra just passed Garnier. Let's take a look, see if we can catch that on the replay here real quick. On the main straight, coming out of the draft, bringing it to the inside, into turn one, and he takes the position away from Marcel Garnier. And back live again, now in 9th position, Danny Hoekstra. Up front, it's still Arnhart. Lost a little bit of ground on Orman now. And it's Gelinas and Andriossi battling for 3rd position, a little bit further back from Arnhart. And it looks like Andriossi is taking 3rd position now. No, still side by side. Gelinas is not giving up. Andriossi tucks in behind him again, tries again on the inside line there in turn 3 and 4. Inches closer. And then Gelinas protects that inside line, but then he leaves it open in turn 1 and 2, staying on the high side. And that allows Andriossi to come alongside, down the backstretch, get some of that draft again. It also allows Bissett to get a little closer to him, and Siefker is right there in the draft with him. A little bit further back, that's Manel Dupre. And then it's Sarmiento in 8th position, and Hoekstra is in 9th position. We are now on lap 27 of 75. Back up front, it's Arnhart in 2nd. It's Orman in 1st. And it's Andriossi battling for 3rd position with Gelinas there. Still going strong, and it's Bissett and Siefker right behind there. Siefker running somewhat high there, losing a little bit of speed. Once the tires start to wear, it's harder and harder to stay right behind another car. It'll give you aero push, and if you don't slow down, it's going to send you into the wall. That's really a problem on tracks like these. Not extremely high banking like a Daytona or Talladega track, but still fairly high banking on this track. Andriossi challenging still for 3rd place. And it looks like he's just trying to keep that clean air on his aero package, and then tugs in, tries to gain a little bit of speed, comes alongside, and then tries to stay on clean air when he gets into the turn. He's taken 3rd now, but it's Gelinas on the high side. On the backstretch, it's Andriossi in front of Gelinas. No, Gelinas takes it right back away from him. And Bissett and Siefker are right there to take advantage of any mistake that they make. And it looks like Dupre is getting a little bit closer too. Side by side in a group of 4 here. Diamond formation. It looks pretty cool. Still Andriossi in 3rd. Bissett now in 4th, challenging Gelinas. Gelinas takes it back on the high side. All 3 of them trying to keep that air on the wings. Bissett tugging in. Can he go low? Nope. Staying on the high side, it's Siefker now on the low side, taking that spot away from Bissett. And Dupre is definitely closing in on him and trying to be a factor in here as well. Orman still in the lead, 1.4 seconds after him. Behind him, it's Arnhart, then it's Andriossi, and Gelinas and Siefker and Bissett. You're looking at this bunch of guys fighting for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Bissett falling back a little bit now. And Andriossi is taking a little bit of a gap there on Gelinas. We're coming to the point where tire wear is starting to be a factor. 34 laps down. Those tires are probably going to last about, the fuel stint would probably be somewhere around 40 laps or so. So, yeah, we're getting to the end of those shoes right here. And I'm pretty sure that's what prevents Jelinus from being able to closely follow Andriossi. Siefker is becoming a threat to him now. And we see the first guy going into the pit. That looks like... let me see here. That was Ferraris going into the pit. We might be seeing some green flag pit stops here. Hoekstra dropped back to 12th position. He got passed by Marco Brazil and Eric Schaus and Marcel Garnier. Let's see if there's other takers on pit road. We're getting close to the 40 lap mark here, so yeah, that fuel tank's pretty much getting empty now. Orman still in the lead, second and a half ahead of Ironheart. There you have him. Andriossi is closing in on Ironheart. And a little bit further back, it's Siefker, Jelinus, and Bisset and Dupre still sticking together there, duking it out for 4th position now. They lost touch with Andriossi, but yeah, they're still together fighting for 4th position. Siefker taking it away now. Bisset back on the high side. He's got a little bit more momentum on that high side. He's able to get off the turns a little bit faster than Siefker. Siefker then takes it back on the low end. Now it's Bisset on the low side, taking it back into turn 1. And we have Schaus going into the pit. There he goes, getting ready to be serviced. 4 new tires, a full tank of fuel, and he should be good to go to the end of the race. And that brings Danny Hoekstra in 11th position. Running there together with Sampaio. And Andriossi now takes the 2nd position. That tells me that Ironheart is taken to the pits. There he goes. There he goes. And I think that's Manel Dupre right behind him doing the same thing. Now, the reason they're staying on the left side in the pit boxes there is that in iRacing you can run
Caution,
through other
flag.
cars. And we have a caution on lap 41, and that'll hurt the guys that pitted under green. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. And it looks like Sylvain Jelinus got himself into trouble. And let's take a look at what happened here. He was running up there with Bisset. Oh, and we've seen this before the last time we covered one of these races. When you get those left wheels below the yellow line on the apron, you lose the backhand. And he does the same thing. I guess he was trying to get into the pit and got in down there a little bit too early. Now he's got to stay away from the pit because the pit lane will be closed until they bunch up behind the pace car. So anyway, that brings Andriossi in the lead, and everybody's obviously now taking advantage of that caution, coming back into the pit and getting service. Now, since the other guys have maybe most likely not lost a lap, it might not hurt them too bad that they pitted under green. So we see everybody in the pit lane right now. As you can tell, that left lane allows people to go through each other, which makes it a little bit less likely that people crash each other in the pit lane. iRacing has done that ever since they got started with these oval races. So let's see if there's anybody that stayed out. It looks like Joseph Wheatley stayed out and picks up the lead, but he might be coming in next lap, obviously. And the cars ahead of him should be lapped drivers, which is Valmore Ironheart. He shouldn't be a lap down. We'll have to see what scoring says after they pass the start-finish line. It looks like Valmore Ironheart picks up the lead here. I'm not 100% sure. He might be a lap down, and then he'll get the wave around once we have one lap to green. So we'll have to see what happens here. At this point, scoring shows Wheatley as the leader. And that's the white car with the red striping. That's Joseph Wheatley. And then it shows Orman in second place. Well, we're going past start-finish. We have gone past start-finish, so yeah, that is the correct order. And that order shows Arnhart in 16th position, almost a lap down. So Arnhart will get the wave around, and the same thing will apply to Dupre, Sarmiento, and Eric Schaus. They will get the wave around so that the leader will be the first car behind the pace car once we go green. So, as far as I can tell, Wheatley didn't pit, and he pitted last on lap 5, so it's a little confusing to me. Why would you not go in if it's only just to get a couple of laps leading to your credit? Then there's really no point in that, because you're going to be pitting. And there you have it. There's your answer. Wheatley is coming into the pit. He waited a few laps longer. Maybe he was afraid we wouldn't make it on a fuel tank. He should be able to make it. I mean, we've done 40 laps, so we have 30 to go. He should be able to make that pretty easy. Well, again, that puts Orman back in the lead. Yes, there we go. I guess I figured that out by myself. I wasn't sure, but yeah, the other cars like Arnhart and Dupre have been given the wave around, and they'll pick up the end of the field before we go green. It's Andriosi in second place, Bisset in third, Siefker in fourth, Gagne in fifth, Brazil in sixth, Sampaio is in seventh, and Danny Hoekster worked his way to eighth position. Chad Nolan in ninth, and Ariel Alanis is in 10th position. So Arnhart's got some work to do, and as said, you know, basically just kind of got caught out by the fact that he pitted under green right before the yellow came out. It helps the guys that pitted under yellow, and Jesper Orman was one of them. So now is everybody is on fresh tires. Everybody's got enough fuel to the end. If we keep it green to the end, there should not be another pit stop. And there we go. Orman is early on the gas. Kind of surprises Andriosi. And there we go. We are racing again. Now on fresh tires, this gap is not going to cause Andriosi to lose touch with the leader. That draft will grab him right here on the backstretch. They will come back together again. Gives him a little bit more momentum on the high side, and he can stick with the leader pretty good there. Bisset and Siefker, same thing. You know, it feels like you get caught out, but the draft will pull you right back up to the leaders. And then let me see, it's Bisset is in third, Siefker fourth, Gagne is in fifth position. He lost out a little bit. And Brazil already back up to fifth position. He is flying. He is definitely flying. Andriosi has taken the quickest lap of the race so far with a 24.5, and he is definitely now challenging leader Jesper Orman. Bisset and Siefker battling it out for third position. Oh, they touched! Oh my goodness, that was the leader that he took out. Let's take a look at what happened there. Yellow flag is out. Yeah, let's go back a little bit further here and slow her down. Let's slow her down. Oops, the slowing down doesn't work. So I'm going to take it back here and slow it down just a little bit. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. You're looking at Orman in front there and Andriosi in second. He's going down. Orman is coming down at the same moment. Then he decides to go up. and doing that just a tad too late, giving Jesper Orman a little bit of a touch, and it sends Orman flying into the wall. Too bad, too bad, too bad. Tough day for Jesper Orman. That's bad luck. Did he make it? Yeah, he's still running. He's got some damage. He's going to have to go into the pit. And it looks like something happened to Danny Hoekstra there as well. He went back into the pit. And not really sure what happened. He may have been caught up in the spinning of that car. We can try and see if we can find that. Nope. Nope, he just went into the pit. Not sure what happened to him. So it means Andriossi is lucky. He is in the lead, and we can see if he takes to the pit with damage. It doesn't look like he's damaged from here. It looks like his front wing is intact. Okay, Andriossi so therefore gets the lead. Unfortunate moment for Orman. And Siefker takes second place, Bissett third. Brazil is now in fourth position, and that is pretty good. He came back from way back in the field after his incident. Then it's Marcel Garnier in fifth position. It's Sampaio in sixth, Nolan in seventh, Alanis eighth. Ingram is up to ninth position, and he started in the back if I remember correctly. Ken Shannon is in 10th. Jelinas has worked his way back up to 11th. Remember, he got caught out by the yellow and the green flag pit stops. Same for Arenhart, who is now in 13th behind Pearson. And then it's Eric Schaus. Those three drivers were all caught out by the green flag and yellow flag pit stops. Sarmiento is 17th. Orman is in 18th. Danny Hoekstra fell back to 19th position. We're talking lap 51 right now out of 75, so we got 25 laps to go. When we go green, it'll be 24. I expect the one till green coming out the next time they pass the start-finish line. And we'll have to see how Andriossi deals with Siefker and Bissett. And if it's any indication, I'm sure Jesper Orman is cussing him out back there in 19th position right now. You know, it's close racing. I mean, it's difficult. You know, a mistake like that, I don't believe any of that is intentional. It's just, you know, you're racing hard for a position. You're making split-second decisions. I do not believe he did that on purpose at all. But that still doesn't mean that Jesper Orman is a happy camper right now. Back there in 9th position, he's a lap down, same as Danny Hoekstra. You know, they're basically pretty much done with any chances of winning this race. One lap to green. The lights on the pace car are out. And let's see how this is going to play out. Take a look at Siefker here. Siefker sitting pretty in second place. Trevor Bissett right behind him. Brazil all the way back up to fourth after his early incidents. Very good going. I would not rule him out as a potential winner in this race, despite the fact that Andriossi has got the fastest lap with a 24.513. And single file restart, just like we did before. If you want to pass, you have to do it on the high side. If you do it before the line, and it's up to Andriossi to hit the throttle when he can. Once the pace car is off the track, it's your pace. Pace car going down. And there we go. We are racing once again. Gets a little bit of a jump on Siefker. Not that much, though. Nothing that's going to hurt Siefker all that bad. Siefker and Bissett together there. on the back stretch, they will close that gap with Andriossi pretty easily. Fresh tires. You see Andriossi knows what's coming. He's already taken defensive line, trying to distort the air for the other guys by waving to the inside. And it's Siefker on the high side now, starting to challenge him. Side by side towards turn one. Bissett right there to take over when something goes wrong. Andriossi guarding that inside line right now. Siefker on the high side. Bissett staying with him on the high side. And then it's Brazil in fourth position, sticking with these guys. Taking the low line on fresh tires. That works pretty good. Once again, Siefker to the outside. Andriossi still holding him off. And meanwhile in the back, it's Jelinas running the quickest lap of the race, so he's not done for the day. Siefker still on the high side. Staying alongside here on the main straight. He's battling for the lead. He's nosing ahead when they cross the line, not by much. Still side by side going into turn 1 and 2. Andriossi noses ahead again. And Bissett and Brazil following suit there. It's Brazil now going on the low side of Bissett while the leaders are still fighting for it. Siefker nosing ahead now. And it looks like now he's in a better position. Although, no, it's Andriossi coming back down to the inside. Good battle for the lead right now. Bissett and Brazil still following there. Having a little bit of trouble keeping up with these guys. Siefker now ahead. Passing the line. He is less than a tenth of a second ahead of Andriossi. Andriossi going back down again. But it looks like Siefker is staying ahead right now. Lap 58 of 75. Yes, Siefker looks like he's got that position fairly secure now. Andriossi will have to see if he can catch that draft and bring it back underneath him. Bissett is now closing in on him. And it looks like Brazil on the low end there, he is closing in on the leaders as well. And then a little further back, it's Marcel Gagne in 5th position and Sampaio in 6th, Nolan in 7th. But Siefker holding on to the lead right here. Starting lap 60. Andriossi dropping back just a little bit now. Bissett on about the same distance. Coming back down again. And I will say these guys are doing pretty good about, allowing each other to get some air on those wings. And it's Andriossi charging again on the lower end. Siefker staying high, going side by side down the backstretch. And Bissett and Brazil are doing the exact same thing for 3rd place. Siefker going ahead again. Brazil still on the inside of Bissett. Doesn't have the position yet. Andriossi back on the lower end. Side by side. See, and the fact that they're racing this way tells me that the incident that he had with Orman was not intentional. Stuff like that can happen. Like I said, you're inches away from each other at over 200 miles an hour. It looks like a wide track, but when you're in there, it's not that wide. Hoekstra's holding on in 18th position, while Andriossi charging back on the inside again at Siefker. Tugging in behind him now. Siefker protecting that inside line here. Bissett and Brazil are still going at it behind there. No position change, and Marcel Gagne is holding on to 5th. And it looks like Siefker's got stuff under control right now. Obviously, 10, 15 laps in, those tires are starting to wear off a little bit. Looked like he had a little bit of a connection issue there. Still in front. Lap 65. Andrioso taking a little bit of a look on the inside there, now tugging in, catching that draft. And then he's going to stagger himself a little bit again, probably. Yeah, you can tell if you stay right behind the other guy, you're going to have to lift a little bit. You're going to get that aero push, a little bit less wind on your front wings. You cannot keep the same pace. That's why they try to stagger themselves towards the guy in front. Brazil and Bisset still in the same order. It's Sampaio that has taken the 5th position from Marcel Gagné. And it looks like he's clearly faster than Marcel Gagné. Marcel Gagné is having trouble keeping up with it there. So maybe Sampaio can catch up with Brazil. Andrioso still chasing down Siefker. Bisset and Brazil in 3rd and 4th. They are falling back just a little bit. Starting lap 67 of 75. We're getting close to the end here. Things will heat up a little bit. Drivers will take a little bit more chances on those final laps. Andriosi tugging in behind Siefker there. It looks like Siefker's got it under control right now. But then again, you never know. Andriosi could be waiting for a last-minute pass coming out of the draft. Although I will tell you, he's not holding back. He's not holding back at all. He's running all out, just like the leader is. It's not like in the movies where you can just jump on the gas, hit another gear, and run by him right before the finish line. It doesn't work that way. Bisset looks like he's closing in just a little bit there. And the same for Brazil. They're trying to stick with the leaders. And they're doing a pretty good job. And then it's Sampaio in 5th. And he's a little bit too far behind to really be a threat to them. Oh, we have a car in the wall. We have a car in the wall. That looks like Gelinas. Yes, it is. Let's see what happened here. He gets passed by the Marlboro car. And it looks like the Marlboro car just washes up a little bit more than he expected. Taps him on the front wheel, sends him into the wall flying. And luckily the other guys can avoid that problem. He's still rolling. He can get it fixed and finish the race. Save some some safety rating that way. But his chances up front are pretty much done. He's trying to nurture it back to the pit lane. And right behind the pace car, it's Siefker and Andriosi lining up on the backstretch. I would not expect any of the leaders to pit because we are on lap 72. So we might not even see another green lap here. It might actually be done. It depends on how many back markers we have. We'll have 2 laps of pacing, 72 and 73, and then we'll have 1 lap to green, 74. We may have 1 final dash, but then again, that depends a little bit on how the iRacing system works this. Nate Siefker, 1st position. Andriosi 2nd. Bisset is in 3rd. Brazil in 4th. Sampaio is in 5th. Gagné is in 6th. Nolan 7th. Alanis 8th. Schaus 9th. And 10th is David Ingram. And in the further back, we have Arnhart still in 11th. He's still running. He worked his way back up somewhat. And then Sarmiento is in 12th. Ken Shannon in 13th. Dupre 14th. Pearson 15th. Gelinas is now listed as 16th. He'll be at the tail end of the lead lap if he gets out quick enough from the pits. Wheatley and Hoekstra are finishing up the running order. Orman is out. Ferraris is out, Grames is out, and O'Hora is out. We may have 1 last green lap. If this is lap 73 and we get the 1 to green when we pass the finish line, This time, then we'll have 1 lap. That's an unfortunate ending to the race, but it is what it is. You know, Siefker did a great job holding off Andriossi there. Bisset and Brazil hung in there in 3rd and 4th. They were close enough to follow, but not close enough to really be a threat. And again, Jesper Orman became the victim of an unfortunate incident, a late decision to turn the other way by Andriossi. It tapped him on the back end of the car, sent him spinning around, and that was basically all she wrote. Jelinus also unfortunate in that pass that we just saw. He was in fact the quickest man on the track with a lap time of 24.378. But unfortunately, it is not to be for Mr. Jelinus. Good effort, though. Very good effort. So we did not get the 1 to green, which means that the race is basically run. We salute Nate Siefker on winning this thing. The final laps are easy for him. It's Joe Andriossi that takes home 2nd position. The final podium spot is for Trevor Bisset. And 4th place, Marco Aurelio Brazil came back from an early incident all the way back up to 4th position. Sampaio is in 5th. Marcel Gagné will bring it home in 6th. Chad Nolan in 7th. Ariel Alanis in 8th, Eric Schaus in 9th, and David Ingram rounds out your top 10 positions there. So unfortunately, the white flag is flying. We are done, finishing under yellow, which I think is always a little bit of a shame, but maybe IndyCar should adopt the green, white, yellow, or the green, white checkered like NASCAR does. And I'm sure there's talk about it, but on the other hand, if you are in the lead, it's kind of a relief to see that yellow flag come out at lap 72. So all we need to do now is just pass the line and the results will stand. And our friend Hoekstra in the last running position. Jelinus looks like he is out of the race now. Wheatley is actually in front of Hoekstra because Hoekstra is a lap down. And here we have Dupre, Can Shannon, Sarmiento, Falmore Arnhard. You remember he was in the head of the field when we started. And Ingram in 10th position. And we'll take a look here as Siefker passes the line, takes it home on a victory lap. And Andriossi, disappointed obviously he doesn't get to fight for that lead again. He was doing very good. Finishes the race in 2nd place. Bisset and Brazil, Sampaio, Gagné, Nolan. Fireworks to celebrate the win. We've seen a good race, couple of incidents, not too many yellow flags on this race. They actually did pretty good, a couple of incidents. Once again, Siefker, Andriossi, Bisset is your top 3 finishers. My name is Mark, this is Blip Shift Broadcasting. We thank you for tuning in and we hope to see you next time.